How would you prepare your children to face the woke/left-wing culture?
Well, stay married to your wife. Well, that's the first answer, you know. A huge element of the woke culture is the more pathological elements of the pride display. How about we put it that way? The notion that you can do whatever you want with whoever you want, whenever the hell you want, the consequences be damned. And that's an insanely immature attitude combined with, so it's an infantile and it's a toddler-like attitude with the addition of sexual motivation. And it's not, there's nothing about it that works. The people who have the most sex are married religious couples. So you can tell your children that. Or you could act it out, you know, with some due caution. Stay married to your wife. See if you can figure out how to continue being in love with her. Play together. Model that for your kids. They're going to want that a lot more than whatever idiot hedonistic malevolence is forced upon them by the dimwits of the radical left. So, example. There's nothing more important than example. What else? Regular meals with your kids? That's a good idea. Read to them at bedtime, so you establish that time to educate them, to attend to them, to teach them to read, to teach them to be literate, and then keep an eye on them. Teach them to deal with serpents. Play with them. Fathers are very good at that. Fathers are the adventurous spirit of play. Wrestle with them. Toughen them up. Challenge them. Set high standards. Don't let them get away with anything. But not because you're the cruel voice of conscience, but because, look, we used to take our kids to restaurants when they were little. And they didn't run around like mad hyenas, making fools of themselves. And the reason for that was because we didn't want people to respond to them as if they were misbehaving fools. We wanted people to be pleased with them and to be impressed by them in the manner that God promised Abraham he would be impressive if he conducted himself properly. It was typical when we took our kids to restaurants that at the end of our meals, other couples, other people in the restaurant would come up and say nice things to the children because they sat there and acted like civilized human beings even when they were 18 months old. You couldn't ask them to do that for 2 hours, but you could ask them to do that for 45 minutes, and they learned how to do that, and there was nothing in that about that wasn't good. I wrote a chapter in my first book. The title was, "Do not allow your children to do anything that makes you dislike them." And that's a very straightforward rule. If your kids are acting up and you're displeased, well, maybe you're a patriarchal tyrant. So you could go ask your wife. You could say, "Dear, that son of yours is annoying me. Is that because I'm a patriarchal son of a bitch or because he's a little bastard?" And then it's up to your wife to say, "Well, you are a little cruel these days and you could shape up," or "That little rat is also annoying me." In which case you could conclude that if your child is annoying both of you, despite the fact that you hypothetically love him, he would probably be annoying other people, which isn't good for him. So that should be brought to a halt. And so then you employ whatever minimal force is necessary to say no and to ensure that he doesn't make a spectacle of himself. My son, Julian, is a very civilized person and also a very tough person, was a ornery little 2-year-old. He was quite insistent that he get his way. And it took a fair bit of wrestling to help him learn to manage his will. But he did. And because of that, we could rely on his judgment from the time he was 3. And that's never changed. And it was a pleasure to be around him. And it didn't take that much. It wasn't that much trouble. It was nowhere near as much trouble as not doing it. We didn't say no that often. But when we said no, what we meant was, if you continue doing that, something you do not like will happen to you with 100% probability. Right, and that's what no means. And if that's the rod of iron behind your no, then when you say no, you get listened to. And then you don't have to say it that often. And so that's what I would recommend to a new father. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. If you do not like your children, you will be cruel to them. And so you regulate your child's behavior so they don't have to encounter the monstrous part of you accidentally at the worst possible time.